Hello again, Jeff Highmark, Caldwell Banker Tomlinson Ranch and Home here in Moses Lake, Washington. I just wanted to come on and kind of talk a little bit about a market update and some of the things that we're seeing. One of the biggest issues, of course, going on, not necessarily um, around the entire country, but definitely here in central Washington, is that we're seeing a bit of a gap in affordability when it comes to buying houses. Now, there was a huge price increase that happened after the the COVID pandemic and all the stimulus that came along with that. Not to mention a large number of telecommuters that started to come into our area, and all of those tech salaries that were buying homes. They were cashing in on their equity from the west side of the state and the Seattle area prices, using that equity to purchase houses here in central Washington and the surrounding area. And it priced a lot of people out of the market. We saw a large amount of prices, the sales prices that were going above the listing prices significantly, and a lot of buyers just couldn't afford the price increases. Well, the prices really haven't come back down that much from there. You see the seasonal influxes where it starts to drop a little bit. The median price starts to drop a little bit towards the winter months, but then we start to see around springtime that the prices start to increase again. Well, we're in a little bit more of a unique spot right now because there is a large, or an increasing, more correctly said, increasing amount of housing inventory that's coming in, including the number of new builds that are taking place. Now, one of the things that you can kind of watch when it comes to housing prices locally is builders will usually make adjustments quicker than current homeowners will. There's a lot of emotion that goes into selling your house, and if you get a whole bunch of equity, it can be really difficult to let go of a lot of that emotional attachment without thinking you're being compensated for it. But the builders understand that inventory needs to move, that that there's a speed of currency when it comes to houses and housing value. So if houses, and particularly new builds, aren't selling, you start to see things like builder incentives or price reductions that are coming. Um, there are some houses, some new builds that are being listed below what they call base price. That's the minimum cost for being able to sell the house and recuperate it without incurring a loss as a builder. A lot of folks are trying to take advantage of these new builds, and they can get some of these customizations done as part of the new build, and basically getting that dream home that you're looking for that's move-in ready. Well, the affordability gap, what that means is essentially that the incomes haven't corresponded with the home prices, that people aren't making more money to correspond with these higher home prices. Well, there are some options that new home buyers have when it comes to this. One in particular is the Washington State Housing Finance Commission does offer down payment assistance programs. And there are a number of local lenders, home mortgage local lenders, that can assist people with this. When you look at the median home price and what it is in this area right now, most buyers, if they're going to do a 3% down conventional loan, you're looking at about $10,000 that you would need to come up with in order to be able to afford that. Now, that doesn't even include your closing costs, which of course are a function of what you're purchasing the house for in the first place. So there's a corresponding percentage that goes along with that. Not to mention that your lender usually wants you to, as a home buyer, to cover the lender's title insurance when you're purchasing the home. What that is that, of course, the lender is going to use your home as collateral as part of financing that loan, and there's going to be a title insurance policy that's associated with that. So there's all these costs that are incorporated into that. So many people think, like, I just simply can't afford to buy a house right now. There are programs available, and if you have some questions about that, please come talk to me or talk to any mortgage broker, any real estate agent that you know. There are ways to get into a house. You don't have to rent forever.